What is up, my YouTube friends, my woodworking friends, my modeler friends, and all my friends out there in YouTube world? I'm cutting this window glazing molding for the trolley windows, okay? It's tiny. It's only, I don't know, 3/8 by 5/16, something like that. It's small. How do you do it safely? And I'm doing it on my miter saw. How do you do it safely? Well, this is how you do it. Right? You make yourself a little sled, right? And all it is a piece of 1/2 inch. It's got to be flat, okay? Don't make it out of junk plywood. You can make it out of MDF, that's fine, but it's got to be flat. This is made out of Baltic Birch, 1/2 inch Baltic Birch, 3/4 Baltic Birch for the back. It's scraps. The back is just glued to the bottom. You need some way to hold it down, right? Whether you clamp it, screw it to your fence, whatever. You need a way to keep it stationary, okay? All it is, you see, it's just glued, and that's it. It's on top of the base, okay? Make sure that it's on top of the base, okay? So, and it's important that you do clamp it down so it doesn't move, because what you're wanting is, let me bring you over a little closer. See this little mark, this little kerf, this saw kerf? What you want is to be able to, I'm going to shade the edge of this, right? What you want is that if you ever need to take off a little piece, you know exactly where your saw blade is because it leaves that kerf. So you could just scoot, if you got to take a 64th off or a 32nd off, you know exactly where it is. There's no guessing. You know exactly where your saw kerf is, so you just scoot your piece over, take your cut, and you're good, okay? The best, if you're cutting, say I'm cutting on the right side, okay? I can hold my piece fine over here, okay? If I'm holding like this and cutting like this, I can hold it fine and be away from the blade safely. When I'm cutting on the right side, I can't, okay? I can't get in here safely and hold that piece where I feel comfortable. I take a pencil with the eraser, hold the piece down like that, right? And then make my cut, right? My hands are pretty far from the blade. I'm holding it. It's not like a long cut. It's pretty safe. Rather cut the pencil than your hand, right? Let's go over here. Key to tight miters. Make your trim just a tiny bit long. I'm talking like a couple hairs long, right? To where you need to, see, this is a little long. I just take the middle. You can see here, over here. Take the middle, bow it out, right? So you see how the middle is here, right? But once you attach it, it's fine, right? It's called a spring joint, right? It puts spring into your miter, and it keeps your miters super tight. And that's what you want. You want nice, tight miters when you're doing stuff like this. Not so much paint grade, but stain grade. Yeah, but do your best all the time, okay? Every time you do something, you're striving to do it better than the last time. Okay? Keep that in mind. It's my little special tip for today. So keep that little spring to your trim and you'll be fine. Let me go back over to the miter saw and talk about something else. Right? Here's another tip. the less you move your saw from right to left to make your cuts, the better off you are. Okay? Not only is it a time waster, especially when you have to do a lot of miters, it's a time waster to flip your saw right to left, right to left. Flip your trim. Okay? You got to make a right miter, flip your trim. Okay? This is, this would normally sit to the back of the fence, right? Like that. Well, if you got to make the opposing miter, flip it. Like this is the front. Flip it over. Put the bottom on the back. Right? It's a little awkward to hold. Some trims you're not going to be able to do that to. For the most part, you are. Okay? It's way easier to flip your trim. You just got to think about it. And what I do is, so I don't get confused, I keep a little scrap of trim right next to my saw, right, that's cut the exact way that I need to cut both ends of the trim, so that I could say, oh man, hold on, it's the wrong way, you're cutting the wrong trim. Because when you're doing, hundreds of feet of trim and, you're on your 30th miter, you get kind of like brain freeze. So it's good to have that little piece of trim there that shows you, that orients you all the time in case you need to be oriented. This is a must-have, in my opinion, if you're doing any type of small trim like this. It keeps your trim pieces from flying all over the place. Sometimes they do, but it's just an invaluable tool in your arsenal. I like that, arsenal. Hey, be safe in your shop, on your job site, whatever you do. I wish you a good week. See ya.